I am Michael Morgan. I'm from East Texas. Thank you. From a pretty white trash part of East Texas, so like the kind of white trash where your Sunday school teacher and your first kiss. Yeah. It's usually the same person. My Aunt Carol, actually. And I'm very glad she could be here tonight, Carol. So good to see you. Not a great Sunday school teacher, to be honest with you. Hell of a kisser, though, I will say. But I was raised really white trash. So for like the first 5 years of my life, I grew up in government apartments, raised by a single mom in the 90s, okay? Like before parenting is what it is today, in the 90s, it was still being beta tested. But like whoever was off work at our apartment complex, like that's who our babysitter was. So my sister and I would wake up in the morning, and there would just be a stranger smoking a cigarette on our couch, just like, "You kids ever stripped copper before?" This is a miracle that we did not get molested. Way more. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. But I will say, that does say more about you guys than it does me. So. But I do like being from East Texas. I'm Pentecostal. I grew up Pentecostal. Any Pentecostals in here? Yeah, it checks out. Pretty natural response to that question at a comedy club. But do you guys know what Pentecostal is? Are you familiar? Okay, Carol, you know. It's just like normal church, okay? If everybody was on acid. It's like going to a really bad rave, but you rode there with your grandparents for some reason. And like they speak in tongues. You guys know what that is? Right? Okay, so I started going to a Pentecostal church when I was about 6 years old. And I was just thrown into it. No one told me why they were speaking that way or what was going on. So I spent most of my childhood thinking that we were Hispanic. And my stepdad's actually the pastor of that Pentecostal church too. So I was like, my real dad was in my life on and off, but I was mostly raised by my stepdad. But like my real dad would come in just enough to kind of unbalance my raising, you know? Because like my real dad, he's very religious. Or my stepdad is very religious. And my real dad probably has all of your social security numbers. But like my stepdad's always been like very inspirational to me, very, you know, uplifting. He would call me and say stuff like, "Michael, trust in God. He'll always be there for you." And then my real dad would call and say stuff like, "This is a collect call from the Dallas County Jail. Would you like to accept the charges?" Neither one of them really taught me how to do anything, though. Like my real dad never taught me how to do a single thing in my life. Like my wife knows how to change her own oil, okay? My real dad, the only thing he taught me, how to evade child support for 18 years. One thing that he did do for me, I will give him this. My real dad got me my first job when I was 16 years old. Very weird job that's like right on cue for him too. Anybody else have like a weird job? Anybody ever worked a weird job? No sex workers in here? No? Okay, well I did have a weird job. I worked at a baked potato restaurant. You guys want to guess what we sold at this baked potato restaurant? What do you think? What? You're close. You're close. What did you say? She's a little warmer. No, we sold meth. You were right on the dot, yeah. So points for her. But we did. The owner was using and selling meth out of this baked potato restaurant. I was a 16-year-old Pentecostal kid. I had no idea what was going on. But like looking back with adult eyes, like there were some signs, you know? Like you could get a loaded baked potato, $12. You could add bacon bits for $300. The drive-through line is just shirtless white guys on a bicycle. I'm like, you know who really loves baked potatoes? The scab community. They're crazy about it. But I do like being from East Texas. One thing I do like about it, I'm from a real small town in East Texas, maybe 3,000 people. Half of the population is legally named Bubba. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Bubba out in the wild. But they're always wearing the same outfit, okay? Overalls, Crocs, which is an outfit that screams, don't check my search history. But like I've got Bubbas in my family. You know, I've got cousins and uncles and they're all named Bubba. They've never once given me any kind of information that I needed to know. They've never been like, hey Michael, here's what you want to know about Roth IRA. I've had them send me a picture of a shit they took. And I didn't date a lot in East Texas either. Mainly because I've always looked like this. You know, like a youth pastor. Who probably has some sexual allegations against him. You know, I just look like I really want to give your kids guitar lessons, right? These two laugh, that means you guys have gotten guitar lessons. That's what that means. I know that look, it's shame. But I didn't date a lot because, like I said, I'm from a town of 3,000 people, okay? It makes dating a little bit impossible. You go on a couple of dates, you're like, man, we got along so well. We have so much in common. DNA. I still fingered her because I'm a Christian. My daddy raised me right. And I got picked on a lot in school because I was in like theater and band. Kids called me gay for playing saxophone, which I never realized saxophone was like a cornerstone of the gay community. But in my defense, I've got gay friends and they've never once came up to me and been like, hey Michael, I like two things, okay? Hard cock and smooth jazz. And I'll end with this. I got tired of getting picked on. So at the age of 18, I joined the United States Marine Corps because I was like, man, I gotta go someplace that's gonna toughen me up. I gotta go someplace that's gonna make a man out of me. I gotta go someplace where no one can ever call me gay again. I went to the gayest place on earth. Immediately when I got there, they were like, all right, Morgan, we're gonna strip your clothes off. Go get in this weird conga line of 40 other naked men that they called nut to butt. And it's just all 18-year-old men naked standing in a line like this, if you need me to paint you a picture. And you're all praying the same prayer. Just, God, if you're real and you do love me, don't let me get hard. So I'm an atheist. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great night.